have a question for you. What does it mean to be an expert ranter?
I've ranted enough I've logged enough hours in.
Considering in our introduction video, it says expert ranter.
Yeah, we're experts in radically affirmative new thought.
Love that.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the rant.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah.
Good to be with you. We didn't give anybody a warning, so it'll take a minute for people to pop in.
Yeah.
See that notification, click on that notification, and get yourself comfortable for another opportunity to rant and have conscious conversations with Dr. Jay-Z and the Saint.
Angela, how great to see you.
Hello, Angela.
Yeah.
Hello.
You actually, before Steph and I went live today, you actually came up as someone that we now have in common, of course, and how magnificent you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So grateful to see you this day. Anita, love that. Sunshine, hearts, and hellos.
Yes. Oh, I didn't get my little cactus.
You didn't get
Didn't get my little cactus. Anita always puts a cactus sun in hearts. Got a different one today. Oh my. Yes.
All good things.
All good things.
Yes. Grateful to have you here. Yes. Delighted. Yeah. So I'm just gonna acknowledge that I'm in a little bit of a weird headspace today.
Yeah, we're both a little weird today. So did you see Anita?
As so many of you know, there we go, Anita. But as so many of you know, I lost a family member this week. I had my 14-year-old cat Cardiff crossed the Rainbow Bridge on Tuesday. So I've been feeling a little bit of grief this week and moving through that. And, you know, one of the things that maybe we can rant on is the nature of grief and its relationship to our spiritual understanding. That's the thing that I think a lot of people are curious about. Like, how do you manage grief from a new thought perspective? Do you have anything to say on that, Steph?
Don't spiritually bypass your grief.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
So important.
I took a course, a little program on understanding grief. It was COVID had just shifted my entire life, and I didn't even know what to call what I was feeling. Because I had a 20-year plan. Anyone who knows me, I love organization. I love being organized. I love structure. I love everything has a place and everything in its place. Or I go a little bit crazy. And so I had a 20-year plan when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And COVID washed that 20-year plan out the wazoo. And the divine was like, no plans for you. There was, I didn't know that I was holding on to grief even from that experience, but also from experiences I've had in my life that I just kind of put in the back pocket. I got to move forward. And I didn't. So there's a book, and I took this program right from Maria Klivikoff. I probably say her name wrong. Healthy Mourning. And so mourning is
not morning time.
Good morning, but healthy mourning. Yeah.
Like, yes. The state of
and so understanding, first understanding what you're feeling is grief is a huge, huge step, because sometimes we just feel angry. We feel resentful. We feel closed in or isolated, and we're not recognizing even what grief is. So definitely, you know, that program helped me because I was clueless on grief. And so you sit with it, make sure that you're sitting with it. And with 8 billion people on the planet, just like there's 8 billion different definitions of the divine, there's 8 billion different ways to grieve.
Yeah.
So we've learned that there is, you know, there's the 5 steps of grief and for sure. But everyone has their own time and space and how they handle it.
Right.
And it's also really important when you learn how to handle your grief. it wakes you up in a sense to be able to support other people who are also maybe grieving a little more compassionately, or saying things like, this too shall pass.
No, so I've worked, obviously I've taught many practitioners. I've taught people who are in roles of spiritual leadership, and it always comes up, like, how do you work with people who are grieving? And one of the things I always like to say, and when people come in and have meetings in my office, because people will seek out spiritual counseling for issues of grief. So, it's like spiritual grief counseling in a way. And some of the things that I always like to remember, and this is the good reminder for me in this moment, is that I think one of the wisest things I ever heard is to help define what grief is, because I think people often think it's sadness, but it's not sadness. What it is love without something in this plane of action in the world of form towards which that love can continue to be directed. Right. And so it feels like I have this love and I don't have the object of that love in my life anymore. I loved that cat so much. He was a little shit. I'm going to just put it out there.
We love our little shits.
We do, but I love that cat.
Yeah.
And I'm also in a state of grief, because there are different ways that grief expresses and experiences, because I lived for a quarter of my life in Los Angeles, and to see what's happening in Los Angeles is like, I'm in a state of grief around that, and hearing, knowing that, grateful to be hearing from friends and colleagues and the hundreds of people that I know in Los Angeles. Like, I have not heard of significant loss for my friends yet, but that doesn't mean that the loss of people's homes in that community, like, it's really I'm feeling really challenged by it.
Yeah.
And grieving, Yeah.
Well, it's hard because we have no control over it. We have no control.
Yeah.
Well,
we do have control. Well, we do have control, because to say we don't have control means that our feelings will run rampant over us. Now, I'm not.
No, I'm talking about no control over
we have no control over
the condition.
The condition, but we do have access to be responsible for our relationship to the condition.
Absolutely.
Our feeling space and our relationship to the condition. So,
absolutely.
And I am gracefully allowing myself to move through the state of grief and the grieving that I'm going for. I'm not going for grief. I'm not trying to make it happen, but I'm gracefully allowing myself to grow through it.
Yeah. And there was, on the other side of the world too, this past week, there was a horrific earthquake in Tibet.
Yeah.
What does our Mother Earth, what's she trying to tell us?
Well, I have lots of theories about what she's trying to tell us. She's trying to say, please
listen.
Please stop.
Please stop.
Things that make it challenging for you to live on this, in this environment. That's just me. I'm an environmentalist. And,
I'm a reduce, reuse, recycle kind of person.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, good morning, Yvonne. Grateful to see you.
Good morning.
Yeah. And thank you, Terry. We'll just put that up. Diane Davison is amazing with grief recovery for pets. I appreciate that. And sending love and gentleness and compassion for me and my kitty cat. Thank you. And praying for California. Like, there's a lot to grieve this week. That's what I'm realizing.
Yeah. It's been a week.
Has been a week.
And so.
Grateful to see you this glorious day, William.
Yes. And
if you don't know Sabino Canyon, Steph, you have to come visit me.
I do.
And we'll go hiking in Sabino Canyon. You would love it.
Yeah, except for the hiking part.
There's a tram. You can be in nature and they'll like drive you up to the top of the canyon. And then you can turn around and you can either walk back going downhill basically the whole way, or you can take the tram back. It's up to you.
It would be easier for me to walk up and take the tram back.
You think that?
Walking down right now
would not be comfortable.
Is not comfortable. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So radically new thought. New thought.
Yes.
I'm talking about Sabino Canyon. We're off topic now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you did. So we've talked about grief a little bit, and we touched on in that little segment of grief, the learning, right? And so we were talking earlier about the importance of staying open at the top, being open to taking classes, and the why. And so when it's a perfect segue. When you don't know how to handle something, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do? You probably Google it.
Right.
Right. You seek information from others.
YouTube for me is an incredible resource of
Oh,
information. I can find out how to do anything by watching things on YouTube.
Yep. Yep. The things we've done. I mean, we just renovated our entire basement, including pulling electrical. Thanks, YouTube. Right. Like everything we did renovations, which would have cost tens of thousands of dollars to have other people do. We did ourselves in the last 10 months.
Nice.
And that was all YouTube. So
but you know what I don't like about YouTube? I mean, I love it because there's a lot that I can learn. And if I'm self-motivated and I can get in there and learn a practical skill, right? What I love about education in general and spiritual education and the experience of being in spiritual community in education is that literally it's about the community for me and about what we can learn collectively and the ways that we can challenge each other in the environment of spiritual education.
Yes.
I love being a teacher, mostly because as a teacher, I consider myself the ultimate student.
Yes.
And I love having the conversations that I have with students. In fact, some of my students who are here, like this glorious student, good morning, Ranters, from her Barrelness. Grateful to see you this day.
Hello, your Barrelness.
And Barrel's in my advanced study here at Unity of Tucson. And there's such great value in the spiritual education in terms of how we apply it practically to our lives. But a lot of that does come from the interaction of being in community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, at the beginning, I came into a room. It wasn't a church, the Center for Conscious Living, just looking for something because I knew I needed to change. There's something that needed to change. My life was not what I want it to be. And then they say, here, this book can change your life if you read it.
But I joke about this book all the time because here's the thing. And I express this quite frequently as well. The appeal to me about the New Thought philosophy. And when I first came into it, I was in a religious science community. And, this is the primary book. The Science of Mind is the primary book that is taught in religious science communities. Yeah. And I love this book. I do.
I love this book.
And what the path was moving through the idea that through intellect, I could change my life in profound ways. And I had to grow through that idea to realize that it doesn't matter how intellectual I can be about this stuff or how many hundreds of pages I can read. He says it on page 423 of this book, which I always also joke about. I read it in service the other day. Page 423 is about halfway through the book, and it's titled Final Conclusion. And he says, in conclusion, what the world needs is spiritual conviction followed by spiritual experience. I would rather see a student of this science prove its principle than to have them repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered. It is far easier to teach the truth than it is to practice it. He is talking about a feeling tone, embodying this to such a degree that it becomes your beingness rather than just an intellectual exercise.
Yes, absolutely. And then people see this book and go, no. I can't, it's too much for me. It's above me. It's beyond me. Right. And then they said at the front of the room, you want to learn this? We have classes, right? So I don't have to study this alone because there's no way I would be where I am today in this teaching without conversation or classes with other people. The wisdom is always in the room. Someone's going to ask a question that I'm not even aware to ask, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, the other thing about this,
the other joke is that the first four chapters, which is the introduction.
Yeah.
Before
Before you even get to chapter 1, read the introduction.
Read the introduction and you're good to go.
That's the whole philosophy.
That's the whole philosophy.
There's the whole philosophy is in those pages right there.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, the challenge too is I always tell people, like, if they're new to the philosophy, don't try to pick this book up and read it alone.
No.
Because it will. Yeah, Anita, here we go. I disliked that book intensely when I first tried to read it. Then we took the foundations class and I was like, oh, I get it now, right?
Yes.
And they actually went to reread it, at some point. Oh, I see. You know, I just taught a foundations class where we use some of this.
Yeah.
But
I would have got this one first.
Well, actually, I wouldn't even get that one.
Really? There's more about religious science in the beginning of this book than I could comprehend. So in like a couple essays, I understood more deeply what was in this book.
And you know what my first recommendation is? If you want to read a book, read The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. Because that really does, for me, encapsulate in a very easily understood way the New Thought philosophy. And essentially, the New Thought philosophy boils down to this. Your decisions create the construct of your life because you are the power of creation in your life, because you cannot be separate from the divine creative power.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
You know, we talk about the joke of it's really encapsulated in that first introduction, but that's the whole philosophy.
Yeah. Well, the philosophy is also, our philosophy is also found in the Bible. Because I'm going to bring that book up again too.
It is done unto you as you believe.
It is done unto you as you believe. I was actually having conversation in my mind and then outwardly with a friend. You know, if we just take a look at the miracles, we were talking about let's unlock the miracles again, because miracles are happening every single day. We forget to see them. Miracles are happening every day, but we think they stopped after a certain book was written, and it's just not the case. But if we take a look at what the miracles of Jesus were, they all boil down to like one-liners, right? So affirmative prayer can be one line. A demonstration can be one line. Pick up your mattress and walk.
Yeah.
It is your faith that heals you. These are the lines before miracles, right? Open your eyes and see everything you like. So affirmations are powerful. And when you know that you are the divine, just like JC, you are the power that brings that miracle into your life.
Right. But I want to be clear, because what I would say the differentiating factor in that for me is that there was no shred of doubt in his mind. And that's great. That's the thing, is we can state affirmations till we're blue in the face, but if there's doubt in our mind, we only will demonstrate to the level of our doubt. And so what I always invite people to do, and this is a practice that you can incorporate, is if you are stating an affirmation out loud, open up to an awareness of what is being said with your inner voice. What is the relationship of what is being said with your inner voice to the statement that you're making out loud? Because it's real easy to say, all is well, love is the core of all expression, and I am rooted in love no matter what. But if the back of my mind, I have any doubt around that, or it's going, yeah, really? That becomes the cap.
Yeah.
That becomes the cap to what I will demonstrate in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The only limitations on an answered prayer or a demonstration are the ones we place on ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So take a class. If you want to shift and change, if you feel stuck and alone and isolated in your spiritual journey, there are places for you.
There are indeed. You're teaching a class right now, I know.
I am.
Your mom will be happy. I'm rolling back here to get a book. Even though my office sometimes feels a little disjointed, I'm one of those people where like I kind of know where everything is. But you're teaching this book, Discover Your Divinity, which is a modern guide to affirmative prayer, which is a significant tool we teach, right? And I am most likely going to be utilizing this as the textbook now for the next iteration of the prayer class that I will be teaching coming up in, I think, February. I think I'm going to start teaching that class in February. Yeah.
I don't know.
What's happening? Steph, what's happening?
My Wi-Fi is telling me that it's unstable, and you were just choppy. I don't know if it's my end or what's happening.
I seem to have complete clarity here.
Hello? Go to commercial. Go to commercial.
Go to commercial.
Whenever we should have make some commercials so that when we have tech problems. And now a word from our sponsor.
Because sorry if things are getting choppy for our glorious people out there. Anyway, what I was saying, Steph, am I back now?
You're back perfectly now. Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying that I'm going to be teaching this as the primary text for the prayer class that I'm going to be teaching probably starting in February.
In February. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Somebody asked me though, there was a class that, I've started getting people ask me to teach a prosperity class, and I realize I have not done that in such a long time.
So I love a good prosperity class. I've taught many.
I may teach spiritual economics this year.
I use Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth in my class, True Prosperity. Yeah, so good, so good. I love Eric Butterworth.
Yeah,
I was going to do a podcast called Better with Butterworth. just like have Eric Butterworth thoughts, and then
Oh, there's a question. Hold on. Lisa's asking a question. The name of the next prayer call book, could not see if that's enough. It's called Discover Your Divinity. It is by Linda Martello Whitsett and Deanne Weir-Morency. This is basically, if you know Linda Martello Whitsett, she used to run Silent Unity in the Unity movement, which is Unity's worldwide prayer ministry. She stepped away from that last year or the year before. I can't remember. Anyway, she wrote a book called How to Pray Without Talking to God. And that's another excellent book. But she will be the first to tell you, like, this is the follow-up to that, and this is better. She thinks this is a better book.
You know what? It's fascinating. She's in a different place for sure. Because when I read this one, I hands down believe it is the best book on prayer I have read. And I study prayer like nobody's business. So, I've taught this one multiple times. It's so great. This one is her other one, Divine Audacity. I've taught this a couple times. It's talking about the 12 powers.
We're literally doing like a book club presentation.
Book club, Linda Martello Whitsett. Now, send Linda this video and invite her onto the rant.
Every time I'm like, I need to reach out to these people that I know and invite them to participate with us. Yeah.
Linda's never far from my hand.
Yeah, and it's literally, I just need to send an email to Linda and say, hey, will you be on a rant with us on a Friday?
That'd be fun. It'd be so fun.
Can I share with you something that
please, yes.
I think you're gonna laugh.
Okay.
I hope you laugh. So I'm trying out this whole AI thing, right?
Yes.
And so I asked AI to write. And,
oh goodness.
And Beryl will be familiar with this. I asked AI to write an affirmative prayer treatment in the style of a Shakespearean sonnet.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And I want to read it for you.
Okay.
O infinite source from which ideas bloom, the spark within ignites the fire of thought. Through boundless knowing, I release all gloom and claim the gifts that wholeness ever brought. As spirit's life, I shine divinely bright, a wellspring of creation pure and true. Inherent power guides me with its light, and all I am reveals this truth anew. With gratitude, I speak this sacred word, for all is mine, complete and always here. This wisdom shapes my thoughts. My voice is heard, and joy flows forth as presence ever clear. I rest in truth, for deep within I know creation flows as me, and I let go.
Beautiful. Well done, William Shakespeare.
Through ChatGPT.
Oh, yes.
I'm amazed with like what AI is doing.
You know, I play with AI as well a little bit. And the other day, there was a ladybug in my window, and I have like it's cold in Winnipeg, so we put extra stuff on our windows, you know, like the plastic stuff, to keep out airflow in the winter. And there's a ladybug alive and well in between the plastic and the window, but I can't peel off the plastic until spring. So I was like, hey, chat. And so I've been working on a bunch of things. So I went in to AI and I said, what would a Buddhist do if there was a lady? Like, how would a Buddhist handle this situation? A ladybug is trapped. How would a Taoist handle this situation? How would a Christian handle this situation? And I got all of these like little things. It was hilarious and bang on. Like a Buddhist would do that. A Taoist would do nothing. Right? And so maybe. It's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. Like the Tao would do nothing because it is doing everything right as it is. Right. So yeah. Hilarious. It's a fun game for sure. Fun game.
I like to play around with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've ranted about a couple things now. How's everybody doing who's watching? Yeah. We had quite a few watchers today, so that's exciting. Yeah. What are you working on this week? How are things in your lives? We love to know and support you in all of that. What do you want a new thought about? Let us know.
Yeah, I've spoken about what's on my heart.
Yeah, we do. We speak what's on our heart. What's on your heart? What's on your heart? Yeah. Because Jonathan and I are having, a week where we're tired. You guys can have some space here. What do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, well, as people type that in, the other exciting thing, we stepped into our new paradigm this week. I know I showed the picture last week of Unity and CSL Tucson are sharing physical space now. It was such an extraordinary day last Sunday to start our service at 9:15 and have the CSL service at 11. It was just like the energy was so extraordinary last Sunday morning here on our campus. Anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge that it was really something else to have that experience. And I'm so grateful for, what I'm really grateful for is that, there are some of us ministers out here who don't believe in the notion of competition between spiritual communities, that we're here to support each other and work in cooperation. And that really is how we're going to grow the awareness of the New Thought spiritual philosophy in this world. Not by saying, oh, my spiritual community is better than yours. And I'm
stop
for me.
Othering.
Yeah, right?
Stop othering now. You want peace? You want peace? Stop othering now. You want love? Stop othering now. You want joy? Stop othering now. Right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Especially when we're in like-minded, like-spirited philosophy, and that really, at the bare bones of it, there's no competition in the divine. So why participate in something that seems like competition?
Well, because all competition is ego, is based in human ego. That's it. So
I'm gonna save more people than you are.
I'm not saving anybody.
Exactly.
Just to be really clear.
Exactly. But that's the essence of competition in a faith-based experience, right? How many seats if we can get more butts in seats, we're saving more people.
Right. And you know what? It's one of those conversations that happens in leadership and spiritual communities. You know, and yeah, I'm going to say it. What the hell?
What the hell?
It often is a board within a spiritual community that is saying we need to get more butts in the seats. And I'm like, we don't need to get more butts in the seats. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
Yes.
I want the right people to be in this community. I want the people who are attracted to the philosophy and the way that I present it. And if you're not attracted to the way I present it, find what works. Like, I'm not here to manipulate you into being present. That's what many traditions do. And the manipulation is, if you're not here, you're going to hell. You will never hear me say that.
You're not going to a bad place if you keep scrolling, right? You're not going to a bad place if you change spiritual homes. You're not going to a bad place, because there is no bad place outside of the one you create in your own mind.
Find what works for you.
Find
what works, because that's what's important to me.
Yeah.
And you know, if here's the thing. If you don't like that restaurant and the food that they serve, would you keep going there?
Yeah.
No. It's actually it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what got me on. What got me onto that topic? I don't know how.
Yeah, the joy of your service. You're like coming together.
Competition, cooperation. Yeah. There is no competition in God.
Yeah, there's no competition.
Yeah.
And that's and I find, I mean, and I'm so repelled by any idea of competition, that when it appears in spiritual community, I'm out. I'm like, I'm not engaging with you. I'm not in competition with you.
Right.
there's no, you know, and I definitely have experienced, the One Love Awakening board is phenomenal. We call it the leadership council, our wisdom council, you know, they're all about deepening ourselves, deepening the membership of One Love. And I have been involved in boards where it's more seats, more people. And how many times I've had to have that same conversation. It's not about more butts in chairs. It's how are we serving the butts that are here?
Right. What is, you know, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. In our own life too, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, so I'm going to out him now. William is actually the president of my board, and he is in like mind with me. Butts in the seats is a losing formula. It is. It tells the universe that we are living in lack. The universe will grant us more of this lack. Yeah. Yep. That's the way it works.
Well done, President William.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're ranting all over the place today.
Yeah. A little disjointed, but that's okay.
That's okay. I'm watching a squirrel run back and forth and back and forth. And so that's kind of like this conversation today.
It's like in the movie Up. Squirrel.
Yeah. Where'd I put my nuts? That's over the hedge. I can't remember where I put my nuts. Over the Hedge.
Yeah.
Great movie. If you want a good Sunday afternoon watch, Over the Hedge. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe we're just done early today.
Yeah. Maybe this is what was meant to be expressed today, and we are complete.
If you have thoughts that you want us to, if you want to keep engaging, let us know. We'll keep engaging if you do. Other than that,
I am looking forward to today having a massage. I've got a massage appointment today, so excited for that.
Nice. I have found someone I'm going to go check out.
Nice.
Finally. Yeah.
And then I've got a training appointment with my trainer at my gym.
Wow.
And Dane and I have some friends that come over every Friday night now. As you ready? As the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race premiered last week, and so now Friday night is RuPaul's Drag Race night for us. Yeah.
This household has just been. I talked about earlier. Smosh, another rant. I think Smosh. It's a YouTube channel. So while they were having holidays, they have done a whole bunch of marathon episodes of like compilations of their stuff. And so I've just been like watching, like they're 8 hours, their marathons are like 4 to 8 hours. So I'll watch what I can. They're so funny. They're funny people. I think they're like this generation's Laughing.
Cool.
They're so funny. And I love to laugh. A day without laughter, I don't think I've had one anytime recently, but a day without laughter for me is, I don't even know what that would feel like.
Yeah.
Because laughter and joy is so important to me. Even on hard days, I can still make my wife laugh or find something to laugh about. And that's just really, I mean, laughter is the best medicine. It really is. It can shake off anything. Laughter can shake off anything you've been feeling up until that point. If a joke lands and you belly rumble, like Smosh, there's some of these people like Amanda, my side hurts. I have to go to the bathroom a lot. Like it's amazing to laugh. Laughter is one of the greatest treasures we could ever source in our life.
I love a good dad joke.
You know, a good dad joke. Yeah.
I heard one today, and I never remember jokes. I don't know what it is. My brain just does not click in to remember jokes.
I just remember the punchlines.
Yeah. So, but I heard one today that I do remember. What do you call a lying snowman?
A puddle?
Right? Like,
did I get it right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. What do you call a lying snowman? A snowflake.
A snowflake.
Isn't that just ridiculously silly?
Yeah.
I love silly jokes.
I love silly jokes. Yes.
Yeah, QI, Angela, I only see it on social media, but I actually love the clips that I see from QI.
I'll look that up. QI.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful, wonderful. And, yes, and laughter, the best medicine, no greater truth has ever been told. So true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can forget you can forget any preceding moment with a good belly chuckle.
So Audrey, with these fires, I hear so many people asking why. How would you answer their question? I'm going to take a leap and say you're probably not going to like my answer. I think that why is actually not a productive, it's not a productive question to ask.
Yeah. Because
it is not a forward moving, addressing the circumstance, moving forward question. It's actually and it's not to say that, and I get it. People are going to ask why. Like, why did this happen? What is it in the universe that allowed this to unfold the way that it did? There's actually never going to be a sufficient answer to that.
Yeah, there's never going to be a sufficient answer to why. Because we've been asked that 100 times before or 1,000 times before, and no response has ever quenched the thirst of that response. No. Right? So there's no answer to why.
No.
And we can have a spiritually bypassing answer about divine order and perfect right timing because everything is divine. We can do that, but that's not what you're looking for.
Right. In the infinite, that's true. Yeah. But the question of why is born out of, and it's born out of grief. It's born out of heartache. It's born out of it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I would never want to deny anyone the allowing of their grief process. I mean, I'm going through grief myself, right? We've already had that conversation.
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
But I could sit here and ask, why did I have to put my cat down? Why? And I could ask the question, why the fires? There's never going to be a sufficient answer for that. And so what becomes mine to do?
There is an answer. We just don't want to hear it.
Yes. There's an answer in the absolute that may or may not be comforting. 9 times out of 10, if you're in the midst of the experience of grief, the answer to why in the absolute is not going to be a comforting answer.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking for when we ask. We're looking for comfort.
And so what I tend toward is, what is mine to do in the experience now? Because I cannot change the past. Impossible. I cannot change the past.
Yeah.
So what can I do now moving forward? What is possible for me? How do I choose in any given moment to relate to the circumstances I'm experiencing? That's how I would answer. And Audrey, right? I agree, because why is always followed by another why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why this? Why this? Why?
Yeah.
And the person who's generally asking that's an insincerity because they're in the something, is really looking to be heard and seen and comforted. They're not really looking for because the answer to that question isn't what they're really looking for. It's not helpful. No. So when people ask that, listen to them, comfort them, be present with them, hold their hand, walk through the fire with them.
It makes me think about very early in my ministerial career. I had been in Toronto for a year. So I had been a senior minister for, just under a year, because I actually started in that. Actually, I was literally driving into Toronto 13 years ago today to take on the role of leadership at the Center for Spiritual Living in Toronto. Near the end of 2012, in December, one of our practitioner interns in our community died by suicide. And for a person who had not been a senior minister for even a year, I was faced with working with a community in a collective grief. And I remember giving a talk on a Sunday when this all had unfolded and saying, one of the primary questions that often gets asked in situations like this is why. And it was the first time that I really had to put voice to, there's no sufficient answer to the question why. Yeah. There never will be. There never will be. So what can we do? What can we do now? What is possible? Yeah.
Love is always the answer.
Love is always the answer.
Yeah.
Yes. And remember, like I said before, grief is love that cannot be directed towards the object any longer.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because the object does not physically, is no longer physically part of the experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, look at that. We were about to log off, and look at
that. There's 15 more minutes of ranting we did.
Yeah.
See, sometimes we
I'm grateful for the questions that come from all of you out there, because it does really allow us to, you know what it allows me to do? It allows me to think through, do I really believe this? Because I know what we teach. And this will go back to the spiritual education part. I know what we teach. Do I believe it? Do I have conviction that this is the truth for me and my experience? Because wherever there is doubt will be the limitation on how I will experience a similar set of circumstances. Yeah. So William, I would choose to move from grief over the fires to taking action to help those affected. I know which choice would cause me to feel better on a human level. Absolutely. And I talked to William yesterday because I'm just going to put this out there publicly because, I'm going to. I don't know that I have permission to, but the Unity of Pasadena Church, 4 of the families there have lost their homes entirely in the Altadena fire. And so I've been in contact with the minister there to say, what can we do as a community here in Tucson to help support you, those families? How can we support your opportunity for, rebirth, essentially, to rise from the ashes, which is in some ways, I think, what we're called to do in this instance.
Yeah.
So,
do all you can with what you have.
And it makes me think of what I saw online not too long ago. The opposite of depression is expression.
Ooh. Oh, I like that.
If you're looking to change something, engage your creative spirit.
Yes.
If you are feeling depressed, engage your creative spirit. See what is possible in terms of, oh, the book by Charles. Are you talking about The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker?
Barker.
I'm sure that I've had you read that book, Anita. Well, I would go get it off my shelf, but I have an old copy and no longer, like, they don't publish it with a cover that looks like that anymore. And we do have Power of Decision in our store here, Anita, if you want to grab a copy of it.
Yep. Yes.
The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. Again, one of the best books out there. Oh, that's the one. Never read it. Want to? Yeah, I think you'll love it.
No. Yeah, this is the old one.
Yeah, that's the same edition that I have.
Yeah,
with that little drawing of Raymond Charles Barker.
Yeah. He looks so friendly.
Yeah, and Raymond Charles Barker and Eric Butterworth were both in New York City, and they had their spiritual communities on opposite sides of the plaza at Lincoln Center. One was in Alice Tully Hall, the other one was in Avery Fisher Hall. And on Sunday mornings, you could go to Lincoln Center and either go to the religious science community or you could go to the Unity community.
Wow.
And there's a funny story about that with my mentor.
I'd be like flipping a coin every Sunday.
So my friend, my mentor, James, Dr. James Mellon, tells the story about when he first was introduced to the New Thought philosophy. He had been part of the Broadway Buddhists, right? Like he was a Broadway actor, and but his friend said, "Hey, there's this community, this spiritual community that we think you might enjoy, and so meet us there at Lincoln Center in I can't remember if it's Avery Fisher or Alice Tully Hall, but it was like go to Avery Fisher Hall, and he got there and he's like, I don't remember which one I'm supposed to go to. I'm just going to go to that one. So he goes to the other one.
Yeah.
His friends were there listening to Raymond Charles Barker. He went in and heard Eric Butterworth. And so his first introduction to New Thought was actually in Unity with Eric Butterworth's ministry. And when they met in the plaza after the service, they were like, "Where were you?" He said, "I was over there." And they're like, "Well, we were over there." And he said, "Well, I'm going to keep going to that one." So his first minister was actually Eric Butterworth.
Wow.
And
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, his first teacher was Eric Butterworth.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love history. I love the history of New Thought. Like we're all in one tree, right? We're all in one tree. So what branch are you? What leaf are you? 'Cause I'm just a little leaf. Yeah. I'm just a little leaf.
I wouldn't say you're just a little leaf. You're a magnificent leaf.
Oh, well, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because it's a little leaf doesn't mean it's not magnificent.
Exactly. I just don't want to use the language of diminishment ever. That's just me.
Diminishment.
I see you more.
So you have feelings about the word little.
Just.
Oh, just. Oh.
I'm just a little leaf. No, you're not. Yeah. You're a little leaf that is magnificent.
I just freaking love you. I've said so many times. I put just. I just freaking love you.
But that is not in my mind. That's not diminishing.
It's not the same. Oh,
it's
okay.
Not the same. Yeah. There's a tone.
So there's an energy tone behind.
Yeah.
What the word? How the word is being used.
If we live in a universe of infinite abundance,
yeah.
Why would we ever say, "I just have $2"? You have $2. Mm-hmm. Celebrate that, right? You may perceive it in the world of form as less than, but it's not. It's still $2.
But I'm also just God. And
if we celebrate that abundance, we welcome more of that into our experience, right? So you're not just a little leaf. You are a glorious, magnificent leaf, a little leaf that is shining its light and reflective of the magnificence all around it. Mm-hmm. And you're part of the infinite wholeness of the tree. So it's, I'm always trying to be on high alert for the ways I might be inadvertently diminishing myself in my language.
Yes. And you heard it and are perceiving it through you. Like I don't have that same experience of the word just. Mm-hmm. So we're, it's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I absolutely see like when people are using it, because I don't have a feeling behind the word, it doesn't have that. But when, I just have $2, for sure, you're thinking in a lack consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Or like the board members who say, we just have 20 people on Sunday. You have 20 people on
I have
Sunday.
20 people? Yes. Yeah. And that's why, people, so I teach classes, and I teach whether there's 2 people or 20 people. Like, because someone is registered for a class, I'm going to teach it because that's mine to do. I'm a teacher of this philosophy, and that's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people in my life that are ministers or coaches or facilitators who cancel because they only have 2 people or 6 people. Oh my God, 6 people in a classroom. You can get a lot of good work done. Oh my goodness, 6 people.
I have 5 practitioner students. Like, if I had 1, I would still teach them.
Yeah.
So
I did have an experience of like a spiritual awakening around that consciousness, because I was limiting myself. And oh my goodness, and I beating myself up. I only have 2 people, or, being in that lack consciousness. And I had a conversation with JC. And he said to me, if you had because it's online, right? My ministry's online. If you had a space and 2 people came over to study the Bible with you, you would study the Bible with them. So how is that any different than the book that you're studying now? Like, how's that any different? And so I said, oh, I totally, thanks, JC. I totally understand that. I'm going to teach this class like nobody's business to these 2 people. And in the next 24 hours, 6 more people registered.
Yeah.
So, shift this. It does everything.
When I came back to Tucson and I started the community, I seeded a new spiritual community called Tucson New Thought. And that was my community for a couple of years until I was hired at Unity. And there were times when I would go to a Sunday and there would be like 3 people that would show up.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the lessons that I learned in ministerial study was actually a lesson that was through, not directly, but indirectly offered by Michael Beckwith, who's the spiritual leader of Agape. And basically his said is, whether you have 5 people or 5,000 people, you preach the same.
You preach the same.
Yeah. Because you are connecting. You're connecting. That's the thing. I'm not going to quantify the connection by diminishing it in my own mind by feeling like, oh, I'm only connecting with a couple people. No, you're connecting with those people.
You're connecting with the divine.
And you don't know who those people are going to connect with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know how far your reach is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta read this one. Butterworth is great, but my minister has taken what he taught and moved into a place of even greater awareness. I love him.
And I love him.
Jonathan getting some love. Oh, so sweet. I love love so hardcore.
Me too.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Love freely, love fully. There is no limitation to the amount of love that can be sourced through you, beloveds. Every single one of you has a powerful presence within you to love deeply, greatly, boldly, widely.
And it's not just within you. It is you. The wholeness of you is this presence.
Yes. Yep.
So, all right.
We did it.
We did it. I think I am needing to be complete.
Yeah. Yeah. Bio break is getting necessary.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to take a bio break. If you don't know what that means,
look it up. Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here. This was actually like one of the rants with the most live people watching. So thanks for being here and experiencing. So we had more than 20 people watching for a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so great to be here with you and to create radically affirmative new thoughts with each of you. And of course with you, Jonathan.
And you know what? What I would love it if everyone who feels like they have been touched or are inspired by what we are doing here every Friday, you know, we would love for you to let people know. You can, you know, click the love. You can click, I always say, click the hearts on Facebook, click that love button, do a thumbs up, share this video. You know, it does get archived, so you can share it with people after the live stream. But we would love to expand our reach with the understanding that who we are is perfect in its expression right here and right now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have to pull this up so that is that Cookie Monster or a wave?
It looks like Cookie Monster to me.
It looks like Cookie Monster. I love it. Thanks, Yvonne.
Thanks, Yvonne. Yes.
Okay.
Love to you all.
Yeah. Love and blessings to all of you. We'll see you next week for another rant.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.